The Federal Reserve plans to implement a new set of rules for credit card lending in 2010, but some lawmakers say consumers can't wait that long. Senators Chris Dodd and Charles Schumer are calling on the Fed to implement an emergency freeze on interest rates tied to existing balances. Joining us now from Burlington, Vermont is Senator Bernard Sanders, who says institutions accepting bailout money should cap rates at 15%. Well, sir, I'm sure I can hear the banks just loving that particular idea. You know, I think in all seriousness, they'd say, you know, we're under some strain, too. Isn't capping rates perhaps going a little bit too far?
Let me just tell you, most people right now don't have a lot of confidence or really concerned about what the banks are saying. The banks now are getting $700 billion from taxpayers. They're getting over $2 trillion in zero-interest loans. And the American people, the people in my state of Vermont who are writing to me, are tired of being ripped off. And the credibility of the financial institutions in this country today is a little bit less than zero. So the issue that we should be talking about is, number one, how do we stop the outrageous interest rates that we're currently seeing, rates which are 20, 25, 30%, and then you have predatory lending, which is even higher than that. So my view is there should be a cap on interest rates, similar, by the way, to what has gone on for decades with credit unions, where it is 15%, except under certain extraordinary circumstances where it goes up to 18%.
Senator, you saw yesterday the president had some of these credit card executives over to the White House. Do you think he used too much of a light touch with them? You seem pretty fired up about this.
Well, it is a good start. I was on the Financial Services Committee in the House for 16 years. This is an issue that we dealt with, and I think what the president appropriately was talking about is ending what we call the bait and switch solicitation. As I'm sure you're aware, and all of your viewers are aware, we have all received huge numbers of solicitations. You know those ones with zero interest rates applying now? You know those ones, right? Well, yes. The credit card companies have sent out, I think a couple of years ago, $4 billion in 1 year. And what they do is they entice you to come in, forgetting to say that on page 4 in very small print, they can essentially change their rates at any time for any reason. So we want to do away with that, and we want to do away with other chicanery that exists right now in those solicitations. That's a step forward. But the real bottom line is what I am hearing from people in my own state, and in fact all over this country, is that institutions like Bank of America and the other large banks are arbitrarily raising interest rates to outrageous levels, and that's an issue that we really must deal with.
All right, Senator, before I let you go, and I should mention you're joining us by Skype, so we're using a little bit of technology there. Of course, you're independent in the Senate, but have described yourself as a socialist, and I wonder what you think about all those critics of the president saying he's a socialist.
Well, President Obama is not a socialist. As a matter of fact, what he is attempting to do after 8 years of the disastrous Bush administration is, in fact, beginning to look after the needs of the middle class and working families, rather than just the wealthy and the powerful.
All right, Senator Sanders, thank you so much for your time this afternoon via Skype from up there in Vermont. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, still